Hi, I picked up a SMSL SA50 amplifier that you can see at the top of the screen. It's supposed to be a 50 watt Class D amplifier, and I had gotten it for my computer speakers because my old speakers had died. As I looked into it, I was coming across all sorts of rave reviews on it on YouTube as to how nice it sounded and all that, and I was having a hard time, frankly, figuring out how a Class D amplifier could really sound nice in a audio setting, or a true audio setting. So what I'm going to try and do here is see how it stands up by substituting it into my home setting. So we have the SA50, which is a Class D amplifier, and the reason I'm questioning it is, one, it's supposed to be a 50 watt amplifier, but if you look at the PDFs on it, if you can find them, they're not easy, but they're there. At 50 watts, it's got 10% distortion, which I don't find acceptable. At 20 watts, you're down under 1%, which is what I would consider in the acceptable range. So I'm looking at it at a 20 watt amplifier. And what we're going to do here is we're using it with some older stereo equipment. We have a Dyanco Preamp that's been highly modified. The tone controls have been removed from the network, although the knobs are there. And we've replaced the resistors, capacitors, power supply on it. So we've made it hopefully as clean as we can. And we're using an NAD 2140 power amp. That's the third box down, the big NAD amp. That puts out 40 watts per channel, rated at 0.03%, all the way to 50 watts. For speakers, we're also going to be using an equalizer. We have an HK EQ8 down there, and that will be the same for both amplifiers. So I'm just going to substitute the NAD with the SMSL. So first we're going to listen to the NAD, and then we're going to plug in the SA50 and see if we can hear a difference. The sound source is going to be the Thorens Turntable, a TD160C you see there, with some new vinyl, and the speakers. We have a Klipsch RB-61ii and an Boston Acoustics HD5. The Bostons have had the drivers, the woofers replaced, for anybody that might be interested. Parts Express has a direct replacement drop-in driver for those, and they seem to frankly work better than the originals. So we'll see what we got here. Going to first play the NAD 2140, and then we'll plug everything else in. So hang on, we'll be right back. I had to re-edit this because apparently I got nailed with a copyright infringement on the first pass through. So we redid it with some older material. Unfortunately, it's also older vinyl, so you will hear some popping and clicking, which was the nature of the beast. Frankly, the vinyl they put out today is a hell of a lot better, simply from the quality of the material. So we'll do the same comparison. You'll be able to judge for yourself which you like better. I'll give my impression when we're done. So sit back and take a listen. First we're going to do the NAD 2140, and then we're going to do the SA50. Okay? And now we'll try the 2140. SA50. test like this is you're still listening to it through computer speakers. So you're not going to hear the full dynamic range of what's being played, and depending on the nature of your speakers or audio, it may not be as obvious as to what the difference is between the two. I think if you listen, you'll see the first clip is a lot smoother, clearer than the SA50. The SA50 seemed to have an edginess to it, sort of fuzziness to it. Wasn't bad, but it's not something I'd want to listen to all the time, at least not in an audio system. I think one of the problems, there's an old saying in audio, power doesn't destroy speakers, distortion destroys speakers. And if you're driving an amplifier beyond its capabilities, that's where you're going to have your problem with your speakers. So if you're overdriving things and you're getting clipping of that sine wave that's generated by the Class AB amplifier, that's where you're going to have your problems with your speakers. With a Class D amplifier, you're starting with a square wave. So with the oversampling, they're trying to smooth that off and get you to a closer position to a sine wave. And I think that may be part of the problem. I really don't know. But it's just my impression, and I think one of the complaints many will have about Class D amplifiers, they are good for what they do, but be careful. I mean, don't expect more from them than they are capable of doing, or don't use them for purposes they may not be intended. So just because
they seem to be able to put out power that will drive a bigger speaker, doesn't mean it's the way to go with it. So, you know, I hope this worked for you. You know, obviously, like I said, it's more evident in the room itself, but I think if you listen to an A and B, the two clips, you can catch the differences. Some of them are subtle, some a little less subtle. One thing I did notice, the SA50 had definitely more hiss at low volume levels than the NAD had. That was definitely noticeable. You know, of course, as the music level was brought up, you don't notice the hiss as much, but it certainly was not as quiet as the NAD 2140. So make your own judgments, make your own decisions. Next, hopefully, I'll be able to try these against a tube amp to see what the difference will be with that. So enjoy, and good luck whatever you do.